So I'm just happy and grateful that yes, that I get this opportunity to speak to y'all in this wonderful island of enchantment called Puerto Rico. Right now I'm in San Juan. As you know, a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, after long planning, I decided, even though life was showing me a lot of contrast and opposition at that moment, that I was still going to stand to what I know to be true. And that moment was to continue my journey to Puerto Rico. And in journeying to Puerto Rico, I've had pressed on my heart for the last year or two to start a channel so that I can just, whether it be a video log or just get some of these thoughts and ideas and experiences that I've been having, that I don't just want to hoard it for myself, but hopefully through my experiences, wisdom, and knowledge, that I can help influence and encourage someone else that are feeling that they may not have the right tools or the right understanding to get them to the next level. And so this is why this series that I'm going to be talking about for the next at least 3 to 6 weeks is going to be about how we're in this game, or in this 3D holographic universe called life. And within this 3D holographic universe, that based upon our thoughts, beliefs, actions, attitudes, values, and words, right, that we can literally influence our environment. And by environment, I mean anything that is tangible to our senses, is not that we can engage with it and influence the outcome. And that may look like from your health, your body, your mentality, your living situation, your job, employment, relationship. Anything that we're actually experiencing right now can be influenced. And the reason why I say this is because for the last 8 years, I've been studying metaphysics. And in metaphysics, they teach that these things that we call solid material around us is literally 99.99% empty space. I need you to get this and don't miss this, okay? So it's 99.9999% empty space, and only 0.0001% matter. And that part is actually showing up, right? So back in the day, Einstein did a double slit experiment, right, along with his colleagues. And in this experiment, they realized that, like, when they took an atom and they looked at it at its base level, that based upon what the observer thought, or how that atom should show up, whether as a wave, which is energy, or as a particle, which is matter, that's how that atom showed up, which means that the person observing the atom was actually influencing the outcome of it, right? And so, like, this is why I believe when we take a person like the great seer Jesus, right? When Jesus, he was talking about this thing called the kingdom of heaven, right? And for so long, my perspective of Jesus is that Jesus was a metaphysical teacher, that they didn't have the language that we have today, or the science that we have today, to explain or to support that which he was trying to teach. Was that it was not about the physical. Stop worrying about what you see, right? It's about your thoughts, right? I so say, if a man thinketh, he's already done it, right? These are things that Jesus would say. He said that the kingdom of heaven is at hand now and accessible now. And he was telling people, like, if you had eyes to see, let them see. If they have ears to hear, let them hear. Obviously, he's not talking about physical eyes, right? Or physical ears. He was talking about the eye inside, the imagination, the ability to see beyond where you're at today. He was talking about if you have ears to hear, if you have perception, if you can feel, if you can get past your 5 senses, right? And so even Plato talked about the cave allegory, right? That's another way that they talked about this 3-dimensional holographic universe. And then the Aztec Native American Indians, they would call this a dream within inside of a dream. And some of us can understand this if you ever had a lucid dream, when you woke up inside of that dream, that you had the ability to create alongside it, or you can make choices and decisions, and you kind of guided your way through that dream, versus a lot of times we're just an observer of a dream, like a person watching a movie, right? And then we wake up or especially if it's a nightmare or unpleasant dream, just like in the real world, when we experience something that we don't like, we can wake ourselves up to a higher state of consciousness. And that's basically what that's talking about. Then scientists nowadays, what they call metaphysics, which is meta, beyond physics, the physical, right? So that's just a scientific language to explain things that are that we can't see with our five senses. All right. And then we have Abraham Hicks. She calls this the vortex, right? And in movies, they call it the matrix. And so Elon Musk, who's one of the greatest visionaries that we have in this moment, right? That's actually acting within his visions. He's actually applying action, and that's why I appreciate the way he sees it, which he talks about us being in a simulation. And the reason why I like this analogy is because right now with computers and AIs, we can kind of see how with quantum physics saying that what we're actually feeling is not real. That yes, likened to a video game, The Sims. I don't know how many of y'all have ever played The Sims or maybe Grand Theft Auto. So like within these video games, you have a first player point of view. And in this first player point of view, this person is walking around and doing lifelike activities. Now, this person, based upon the code, right, or the invisible principalities and powers that's behind it, that person cannot just walk through a wall. That person has to come into shit. Don't stop. All right.